is your leadership style and what you offer considered to be attractive to talented early childhood education teachers? There is a difference between having staff and having a team. And staff are individuals who just want a job, but a team is a group of individuals who come together for a common goal. And that is what you're looking for. If you're stumbling upon my page here, or if you're on YouTube and you're on my channel, my name is Ashley Benz. I am the founder and creator of Ashley Benz Consulting and Childcare Business Executive Tools. I consider myself the #1 childcare business consultant that empowers owners to have a great work-life balance while building your business. And so I do this by specializing in helping owners create ecosystems and automation. Now, you guys, I am so excited because you guys get to meet two of the childcare business executive experts. And so I am going to officially introduce to you Rhiannon Albert, which is our human resource expert. Rhiannon is experienced in human resource advisor with a history of success partnering with CEOs and owners in a variety of industries to solve their most challenging HR concerns. She provides expertise for your business through workplace investigations, employee behavior, policy and procedure consults, and risk mitigation. So Rhiannon, thank you so much for being here.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Awesome. Now, our other expert is she is our management and leadership expert, and she is the lovely Barika Porter. Barika has a passion for helping individuals and businesses bloom successfully. Mrs. Porter, a certified professional coach, specializes in helping people uncover and develop action plans to support their organization and individual goals. Having worked with executives throughout her career, she has a unique ability to understand the challenges facing senior leaders. Her coaching style allows her to serve as a trusted advisor. She establishes trust and helps leaders move away from seeing organizational limitations and deficiencies and towards visions complete with possibilities and solutions. Barika holds a bachelor's degree in English from the University of Virginia and enjoys spending time with her husband and daughters. So Barika, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I am too. Okay. So again, you guys, if you're coming in and hopping in on our live, if you want to go ahead and say hello in the comments, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Let us know where you're coming in from and all of those things. Now, this video and our meeting today is sponsored by Ashley Benz Consulting and the Childcare Business Executive team that you see here. And at the end, we are going to invite you to book your discovery call and learn more about how we can help you. So if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure that you go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, and also be sure that you hit that little, subscribe. And then after you subscribe, hit the little bell so that you're notified of when I post up videos. So, okay, ladies, I am so excited to get into today's topic. And I know before we actually decided to do all this, we have met previously, and literally when we get on, we literally could just talk all day long. So I will tell you, you guys are in for a amazing treat. So I wanted to kind of start the conversation and talk about the fact that there, again, as I stated earlier, and I believe this, but I believe that there is a difference between having staff and having a team. And again, to me, staff, like if I say staff, I just feel like that's more like a job. But if I am a part of a team and an organization, I feel like that I am a part of a group of individuals who are coming together as that have the common goal. And so in our industry, because of the staff to child ratio, we are conditioned to hire staff and teachers instead of strategically bringing the right people on board that create an actual team. And so as we talk about being an attractive as an employer in general, I want to start with Rhiannon, and I want to ask you a couple of questions. So the first question, Rhiannon, is, can you share some things that would not be considered an attractive company to work for?
Yeah, so when we think about the childcare industry, I am a parent of twin girls, and I'm also very much a working mom. So I depended on a great childcare provider and providers throughout my years of early parenting. So one of the most noticeable things that as a parent I thought about was the smell. I wanted the smell to be great when I walked in. That showed me that it was cleanly, things were taken care of. So, when you think about being a leader of a childcare facility, having your stuff together, being organized, being that leader who is calm under pressure, because you guys have a lot of moving parts, and sometimes it's staff, sometimes in turnover, right? Or sometimes these are teammates that are just getting started in the workforce. So they're not used to being dependable, or what to do when they get sick or when they don't feel well and don't feel like coming in. You've got to juggle all of that stuff, plus keep people like me, the parents, happy, right? And then make sure things are clean, make sure that things are sanitary and up to code, providing meals on time, right? I mean, you guys have a lot on your plate. So I think you guys know what it's like to not be an attractive place to work. And it's those things like unorganized, not cleanly. Nobody's going to want to work for or employ a business owner that doesn't have their fundamentals figured out. You don't want tension. Your employees don't want tension, your team members don't. So the focus should be about providing really excellent care for the kids. That should be first and foremost. So anything that's not aligned with that, we need to get it back in focus.
Yeah, that is so true. And I know, in relation to the attractive piece of it, and thinking about, so like the way that I like to think of it is when someone is looking for a job and, they want to work for a childcare business, I guess, what would you say would be some attractive things, just, I guess, maybe in general? Because I know sometimes, Rhiannon, it's almost kind of like, there is a huge difference in like corporate and a childcare business, but at the same time, I still feel that they're almost the same when it comes to what an employer can provide and the attractiveness and things like that. I know right now, because we are, and I think we must have lost Barika, so hopefully she can join us back in here. But I know right now, because we are dealing with the staff, the great resignation and things like that, a lot of people are looking for places that, I at least what I researched, that really have a mission-driven culture. And, and I feel that those type of things really do attract, like just having that mission-driven aspect of things.
Yeah, really finding, every business owner should really be thinking long and hard about why they do what they do. Why are they in this business? What are they passionate about? And really make sure that is delivered, that idea is delivered throughout, and kind of repeated. So the policies that they create and how they treat their team members each and every day when they come in to take care of kids, what is driven, what is that message? Because it really is, it should be focused around quality childcare, making it a fun experience, making it, clean and safe. And if that's important to you as a leader, then it's going to be important to everyone else if your policies are aligned and the way that you treat them and everything is aligned.
Yeah, yeah. And so that kind of brings me to the next question that I had for you in regards to the policies. I was actually talking to an owner yesterday, and she says that, she has policies in place, but sometimes she doesn't follow them herself, or she's kind of lenient on those policies. And so I guess, like, what would be examples of good policies for um, to protect that company culture, you
Yeah.
know?
So my favorite quote in the whole world, I'm going to read it for you because I think it's great as, when I coach corporate leaders, corporate CEOs, when I am like as a mom, right? It's that follow through. And like you just alluded to, Ashley, when you have policies created, it's all about ensuring that you yourself are exhibiting those standards, right?
Right.
Because if
Yeah.
you have a harassment policy, no harassment here, but then you're picking on people and you're, leading in that way,
Mhm.
maybe a micromanager, are we really following our own policy? That's crucial. As a
Yeah.
parent, right? Don't do this, but then they see you doing it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So follow through is everything. But my favorite quote is, what you permit, you promote. So
Oh,
whatever you're
I like that.
allowing, you are promoting, right?
Yeah.
What you allow, you encourage.
Yeah.
So if there's gossip, and sometimes that can happen, right? Because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
maybe a younger staff sometimes. Maybe they haven't been taught yet that, hey, we don't talk around behind people's backs. If we've got a concern, we need to know the proper
Yeah.
protocol. Where do we bring our concerns? Where do we bring I don't like that I have to work this shift. I don't think it's fair. I wanted to go out of town and so called in sick and she got to leave, this kind of stuff. You want to make sure that they understand what is the proper protocol. Oh, back to my quote. What you allow, you encourage. What you condone, you own.
Mm.
So you have to be
Yeah.
thinking about, how am I leading? How am I showing up every day? And then what are my expectations of those employees? Have I clearly communicated it to them? Do they
Yeah.
know what I expect
Yeah.
of them to be successful? And then am I following through?
Following through.
And one of the policies that I jotted down, one thing I've seen in my 22 years in human resources is, you can have progressive discipline policies. That's kind of very structured, traditional,
Mm.
kind of harsh, right?
Right.
But there are corrective action policies that are a little more flexible. And it's all about constant communication.
Yeah.
So one of the things I promote a lot are same day summaries. So, hey, we've got an incident. I want to make sure that you're aware of what my expectations are for you. And I want to make sure I have this story straight. This is how I perceived it. This is how you came
Yeah.
across. But I think communication is gold. And
Yeah.
it's something that I see the largest, most successful corporations struggle with.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so fundamental, but if you can have great communication with your team, you can get through just about anything.
Yeah.
But it's that follow through, it's that setting expectations, clear expectations, it's the follow through, and it's the great communication in all the days in between.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everything starts with communication. When there's a breakdown in communication, then you're going to find a breakdown in everything else that follows behind that. So I completely agree with you on that. When you said corrective, what was it? Corrective
action.
Corrective action. Can you explain that a little bit? Just because there might be some that may not really understand exactly what you mean by that.
Yeah, so anybody can Google it. Corrective action policies are pretty common, but it's about that constant communication. It's about, like, what are we going to do about that? Let's come together and let's figure out, here's what happened. Here was my concern. Do you have anything like that you want to add to that, or kind of where this was coming from? Okay. So then next steps, like, how are we going to move past this? How are we going to structure things so that this kind of mistake doesn't happen again, right? We had a parent come in, she was extremely upset. We didn't handle it right, right? So what are we going to do now? It's integrating that communication piece with clear expectations and follow through. Like, here is what would happen next time this happened. Like, this isn't okay. Next steps, but let's move forward together as a team. I like it because it's not like I'm trying to, put you down and like, you're in my books.
Right.
I don't like that kind of leadership personally.
Yeah.
But it is all about growth and development. And if you are in that, have that opportunity to coach and develop new and young talent, I would rather it be encouraging, right? Because this might be their first job and they don't really know, just like we didn't know when we were starting out, right?
That's true.
So let's encourage, let's enable great communication, very clear expectations, very clear follow through, just like we talked about 2 weeks ago when this happened. This is the next steps. This was my expectation, and this is where we fell short. So this is what we're doing, and whatever, right? But clear communication is everything. And it just aligns you with a really great structure so that if worst case scenario, we've got someone who just doesn't seem to get it, then we've got a very great documentation. Document. Have even just a Word file or an Excel file for each of your employees, and just jot down the little things, because what we're looking for is patterns. Like, I always struggle seeing you get to work on time in the mornings, or, but if you can talk to them and have great communication about it. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've been having car trouble. Okay, well, let's get it figured out. So that this doesn't continue to be a problem. And, but what we're looking for long-term is those patterns, and where are the issues. You don't want to have the communication, so some leaders don't. And then guess what? What? If you set an expectation for me, but then never communicate with me when I just came in late the last 4 days and no one said anything, like, what? How are they supposed to know that you're serious about it? Right. That's true. But you have to hold everybody to the same standard. The other thing is, don't play favorites. You might have people in your team that you feel do more, or them outside of work. Don't play favorites. Just treat everybody equitably, and remind them we're all in this together, and celebrate the wins too. When you guys do a great job, or when you get kudos from parents, celebrate those things. Make them visible to the whole team, everybody. Because you guys are all part of that success. And I can give specific like after the call, if anyone wants to reach out, I can give more specific, anti-harassment policy guidance, thinking about paid or unpaid leaves of absence, because undoubtedly, like, you're going to have some people that are going to say, well, I've had this happen in my life and I can't be at work for the next 2 weeks. How are you going to handle that? And you want to make sure it's fair. Across the board. Time off policies, I can help with other things.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe. Yeah. And I totally agree with that. In relation to me, honestly, I feel like that, and so to my child, you guys, it's no different than working with the kids. It's the same thing we teach the kids. It's the same thing you want your teachers to do in the classroom. What is it? The one thing that we always talk about is consistency. Children need structure and they need consistency. And so do adults.
So do adults.
So do adults. So, okay, this kind of leads us into Miss Barika. And I guess this is this is a question that I was asked. And so the question was, how do I deal with a teacher or staff that never gets what I asked done? They always complain that there were too many interruptions in the day. So Marika, can you kind of touch on what's really happening here?
So I think most of the time when we encounter people that aren't doing what we've asked them to do, we might want to first check and make sure that we clearly communicated, just like Rhiannon was saying, what your expectations are. And then if you've in fact done that, then it's appropriate to come back and have another conversation, or maybe put things in writing. What I've found a lot of times with people managing people is we tend to communicate the way that we want to be communicated to, but great leaders really take the time to learn and understand their team and how they best receive communication. So that's part of, I think, speaks to what you were talking about, Ashley, about really developing teams, because teams really care about each other and are curious about what makes the other person tick, rather than if you're just like a boss and staff type of relationship. It's kind of like, my way is the highway, everybody else needs to get in line. And that's effective for a time. You can rule with an iron fist and everybody will quake in their boots and do what's asked when you're in the room. But is that really the kind of business and environment that you want to build? It's a little more challenging to be curious, because everybody's different and you may not necessarily like or agree with the styles and approaches that people have. But I think the first thing is to really genuinely show some curiosity and assume the best in people. Assume that people aren't coming to work just to like not do their job or to openly defy you. Assume that they really do care about their work. I mean, I think if you start there, I think the way that you're approaching people pick up on that. And that is something that you as a leader have power and control over. So when you come to someone, you really want to find solutions together rather than necessarily making mandates. I mean, that's one of the core principles with coaching, is the idea that the answer lies within you, the other person, rather than me coming and telling you what you need to do. And so I think that there's room to learn how to acknowledge and validate how your team members are feeling. Why is it that they're feeling like there's no room for them to establish boundaries in terms of the day constantly being interrupted so they can do whatever the task is that you've asked them to do? I think we as leaders have to be open to feedback about that, right? Because if you're saying on one hand, the kids are the priority, and that is exactly what they're prioritizing, and maybe they're not, I don't know, emptying the trash cans by 2 o'clock every day, that's a conflict. And so you guys have to kind of come to terms with what specifically is that particular activity supposed to look like in your mind. And then ask your team member, well, what do you think it should look like? And how do you think you can accomplish that? Because both have to be done. So what can we do? How can I support you to make sure that that part of your job is accounted for? So that's my little 2 cents on that.
Yeah, I'm glad you spoke on that, just because I know when I ran my center, I had an issue. I always just felt like, here's the answer. They would come and ask me, and I would just feel like, oh, do this or do that, or do this or do that. And then I got to thinking, and of course, I didn't have amazing experts like you on my team to help me figure through these things. So I kind of had to learn on my own. But I got to thinking, I was like, well, wait a minute, Ashley, you're not really giving them ownership. And I know that when people have ownership, then they feel like they are a part of. And so I had to really learn how to, I would literally do this. I would if a teacher would come to me about something, I would put my hands behind my back, and this would kind of like remind me not to do it for them or not to give them the answer. And so they would know when I come, and they would know that, okay, they'll be like, okay, Ashley's getting ready to put her hands behind her back. So that means she's getting ready to challenge me to come up with some answers. But it's so true. And I think even what y'all both are saying, and what I'm hearing a lot of is coming together and having them be a part of, like Rhiannon was saying, like you guys are saying, having them be a part of, okay, well, what should we do about that? And it's a constant kind of throwing those questions back at them to get them to think for themselves and problem solve. And then the beauty of that is that when they get to feel that ownership and they take pride in the fact that they came up with the solution between the difference between taking the trash out at 2 and this and that, I mean, the pride they get in their job is like unreal. And so this is what you all are wanting to step into as a leader. So yes, I love that. I love that. Okay. And I see, hi, Angela, how are you? Okay. So the next question is it possible to build a team with current employees that were not strategically put together? And so I thought about this question because I know I have had a lot of owners, come to me and they'll say, well, Ashley, I honestly believe like that, I have staff here and I just feel like some of them are not really supposed to be here. And now I am learning about team building and I want to build this team, but these people were not strategically put together. And I know the strategic aspect of it is thinking about when you're hiring in people, it's like, okay, with this person, with this personality, fit, with it mesh. Maybe we do have too many strong personalities. Maybe we don't need that extra, And so how do you, how is it possible to build a team with current employees that were not strategically put together?
I'm supposed to answer that, right? So
that is you.
I think the answer is yes.
Okay.
It is challenging to do that, but the principles are still the same. It is fundamentally about being curious about the other person and modeling that for your team, because as we know, like when we get in teams, there are all these personalities and dynamics going on, and we're always we find ourselves being irritated by the way people handle certain things, and that can cause a whole lot of conflict. But one of the things that I work with clients on is really understanding what your own personal values are, because most of the time when we're irritated or annoyed or frustrated, that's because one of our values is being stepped on. And if we're able to actually communicate that to other people, again, nobody's really coming in trying to wreck your day. But if, like, for example, if you are a stickler for doing what you say and you encounter somebody who's like, oh yeah, I'll do it, and then they don't, you're just building this resentment. But your team member might not know that's a thing for you, and it might not matter that much to them. So I think the way that you start by building teams that may have been kind of thrown together is to maybe do like a team building activity where you investigate some of these very things, where you figure out what your values are. And what I've found is like a lot of people don't even know what those things are. And so you as a leader have a wonderful opportunity to help people begin on a journey of self-reflection. And it feels kind of counterintuitive, I think, sometimes, like when we're thinking about our jobs, that there's room for that because we have a task at hand. But I think it's a gift you can give people, because what will happen is if there's someone that's there and their values are like in complete contrast to what the business is about, what maybe some of the other team members about, you may not even have to say, I don't think this is a good fit for you. They begin to start questioning, like, is this really where I want to be? Like, I don't even like kids, like really encouraging people to be honest with themselves. And I think the best way to do that is to model that yourself as a leader, to be transparent, which can feel not necessarily safe all the time, because ultimately you are responsible and have to make tough decisions. But it does foster that connection and community with each other if you as a leader are able to say, hey, I really care if you do what you say, or I really care that you're on time, or whatever your thing is. If you can clearly communicate that to people, they have a better way of understanding and knowing where you're coming from. So that's my 2 cents. I really think like just
Yeah.
starting with like level setting where you have an opportunity to really get to know each other outside of work, which I know in childcare is very challenging because the days are so long and
Yeah.
people just want to go home.
Yeah. 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 Barika actually used to work in childcare. She said, I guess
Yeah,
years
a couple of
ago.
times I was thinking when I was thinking about it, I was like, oh yeah, I did camps and worked at kinder care for a little while and was in a daycare center. And so it's just, yeah, it's a oftentimes a thankless job, but it is so important to
Yeah.
our world, right?
And it's
The
so
way that
important to
we
parents,
function.
you know, it's so
Yes,
important
it
to
is.
the kids. The kids, they foster those memories for years to come.
they do.
Oh yeah.
So you have to remember your why, like why you do this and why it's important to you and why it's important that your team members exhibit those same qualities, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And I think, just because we are all moms here, so we get everything. Yeah, we get the what you all are dealing with as childcare owners. We get the fact that because you guys, most of that I know y'all are moms too, and so you have a lot on your plate. I mean, from juggling your home life to your childcare business, and so wouldn't just if you sit and think about some of the things that we've been talking about here and the different types of strategies and just the communication. I feel like that the main key thing that I've learned from this is the communication. And I think just honestly, at the end of the day, just knowing that, we're all humans, and as a leader, you do have to come sometimes, you've got to come out of that boss mode and just really go into, I looked at myself like a mom to not only the kids, but a mom to my staff. Even if they were older than me, I had staff members or teachers that were even older than me. And, during that time, I'm mama and I'm here to help you if you need anything, like, come in my office. I did have an open door policy, but I also was very big on my boundaries as well. Because even as moms, we have to set boundaries and say, well, this is a time that I'm really focused on something really important, so unless it's an emergency, but yeah, I think that this, honestly, like some of the stuff we're talking about here and where my mind is going is in the interviewing process and how much of a game changer that we could change our interviewing processes from just these blanket little questions to really getting to know somebody, really getting to know who they are and what their passion is and how that passion relates to working in the childcare, because that necessarily, like you said, they may like kids, but they may not love kids, but they may love arts and crafts.
Yeah.
And just that piece alone, when you talk with them in an interview and, you kind of learn that they really love arts and crafts. I mean, you can really take that person and by the end of the day, they will actually love the kids because they're going to love seeing how the kids love their arts and crafts. And so, yeah, so I think that it does really go back to that communication. So, okay, I do see some of you all sitting here watching. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and load those down in the comments. We would love to answer any questions that you have. But yeah, I just believe that we do have just in general, I think that we do have a ways to go when it comes to restructuring our employment and just how we bring people in, how we treat them while they're there, and even when they're offboarding, and making sure that, that person gets on their way safely, if that's to another position or something that they, may not be childcare, but it's just saying, you know what, we appreciate your dedication with the X, Y, and ABC childcare. and all that. So yeah. Okay, ladies. Well, I think this was an amazing conversation. I'm excited for my childcare business executives to have this information. And so any last minute thoughts, Rhiannon, anything you want to last minute, anything that y'all want to say?
Yeah, I think we covered a lot today.
Yeah.
I think, just thinking about all the different steps and processes, like you said, the interview process, instead of sterile questions, ask them questions about, you're applying for a job to work with kids. Tell me a little bit about what you love about working with children. And you'll start gleaning pieces of information that will help you better understand who they are, what makes them tick, what motivates them. And, especially in the childcare industry, all industries, right? It's so hard to hold on to great employees. This is a really terrific time to just ask yourself, what am I doing to retain my good employees?
Yeah.
Because people are getting poached all over the place. They're getting enticed to go work for other places that might offer a little bit more money because everybody's struggling to find good quality staff. So
Yeah.
you want your workplace to be that place where the kids are the natural draw, right? Because they're so cute and they're so fun to be with. But what are you doing as a leader to make sure that your leadership style is also just as attractive?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And we have some likes and some hearts. Yes, you guys go ahead and give those likes and hearts because I feel like that, again, this is just the first layer of what we can provide to you and helping you really, change the culture and your childcare center and being, like Rhiannon saying, being that #1 sought out childcare center to work for. That is what, at the end of the day, not only do you want to be the #1 sought out for children and families for families to enroll their child with you, but you want to be the #1 sought out employer. And when you're that, the parents are automatically going to bring their children to you. Like that's an automatic, right? Because at the end of the day, these kids are sometimes in these daycare programs, sometimes 10 hours a day. And so you think about, it's literally, for me, the way that my mind frame would be, I'm going to create a family bond, right? Because at the end of the day, it's almost kind of like, and I've said this to my audience before, but it's no different when you bring a child into a childcare and early childhood education business that has a lot of chaos within their team and their staff. That is no different than taking a child into a home environment that's got, the same thing.
Yep.
So it's a lot to think about, but you guys, as I end out this video, Barika, did you have any last minute things to say?
Well, I was just thinking about the last part, about the chaos part. I think that the other thing we can do as leaders is to consider that we don't have to be able to do all of the things well. And so you can really leverage your team. I think that kind of plays into the retention strategy, is finding ways for team members to grow and step into more responsibility and being intentional about that. I think that can also help you in the long run too.
Being a great leader does not mean that you have all the answers.
Right.
No, it doesn't.
Being a great leader means that you're great at leading others to be great, right?
Yeah.
So I totally agree with that. Don't put that kind of pressure on yourself. None of us have all the answers to every question, right? But if you empower a great team, they can be a great resource. Hey, do you mind heading up? Start asking around your fellow teammates and see how should we navigate this issue? What is the best solution? Assign it. Give them more responsibility, like Barika said. Assign more responsibility. Let them shine, and see if they, rise up and show that they have what it takes to maybe head up a certain piece of your business, empowering you to stay focused on what you need to stay focused on.
Yeah.
So it really is. And the awesome thing is, if you do a good job at building an awesome culture and a place where kids want to be, parents love being,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That everything works, then you've got a whole bunch of more power to be selective about who's on your team. Because then guess what? You're going to have all these applicants wanting to work there. And so if you do have a few people that aren't coming along quite as quickly as you wanted, or they just don't exhibit the kind of behaviors you want to be, shown in front of parents and other children, then you can phase them out, phase new talent in. And, you're like the shining center of all of your competition, right?
Yeah.
So it's really a great place to get to when you're doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, y'all know this had to be really good. Okay. Y'all have to give this video some likes, some hearts, and some thumbs up. And that kind of leads me into the fact that, we don't have all the answers as leaders. I don't have all the answers. That's why I have these amazing people coming in to help me give you guys the answers. And the beauty of building a team and being an attractive leader is that is going to, as Rhiannon and Barika both are saying, that is going to take the pressure off of you. And that's going to give you a better work-life balance. Okay. Think about, and as we close out, I want you guys to really think bigger than what you're thinking now about your employment structure, because if you can build a team of people that are behind you, they support your vision. Okay. They love coming to work, and they want to see you succeed just as much as you want to see them succeed. When that type of relationship happens in a company, for you as the leader, that allows you then to start operating from the highest version of yourself, because you don't have to worry about your team, right? Your team is going to, they've got your back. They have your back. And in return, you are going to provide the best working environment and the best place for children and families to enroll their children with you. So, okay, with that being said, y'all, thank you so much, ladies. This was amazing. And so, Ashley Benz Consulting and the Child Care Business Executive Team, these two ladies here, we provide coaching and consulting. And so what we do is, today we definitely provided some coaching to you all. We also do consulting as well. So not only will we guide you, but we will help you along the way. And our specialty is helping owners be alleviated from the need to have to be on site for your home daycare, your center, your school, or your early childhood education business to run. And as you can see here, okay, yes, we can help you get a team that's just really going to, like I said, have your back. And when that happens, that's going to alleviate the need for you to be on site. And our mission is so you can have harmony between work and life. Again, we are all moms here. We are all juggling certain things. We get it. And it's a lot. And, at the end of the day, we need help. And if you're running a business, you need help. If you're a mom, you need help. Like we need help as women. And so what better way that we can come together and support and help each other. So with that being said, if you are interested in learning more about how we can help you, then what you need to do is book your discovery call. Okay. I am going to leave the link down below. Guys, I have been doing discovery calls all this week. I've got 2 more to go. And I'm going to tell you that just the things that I have been learning about you all as individuals, and the fact that like the passion projects behind why you're wanting to start your childcare business, why you're wanting to expand, and why you're wanting to automate your childcare business is unreal. And so, yes, I'm so excited. And again, we are here to help you. So book your discovery call. I'm going to leave that link down below. Also, what else do I want to say? And I think that was it. Yes. Well, no, this is my last little note here, but basically kind of like what we do, just so you kind of get a little bit of an idea. But the Ashley Benz Consulting and the Child Care Business Executive Team can really help you install corporate style departments within your child care business and have daily access to corporate experts, just like you see here. So Rhiannon is that HR, so she can help you really set up your what we like to call your little HR department there for you. And then Rhiannon is the management and leadership, so she can help you really guide your team and things like that. So we are here to help you. Go ahead, book your discovery call. And oh, if you're watching the replay, put down in the comments replay, ask any questions that you have. And you guys, we'll see you, or I will see you on the next video. And if you guys want to be able to access Rhiannon and Barika, then you definitely want to book your discovery call. So have a great weekend, you guys. And y'all be sure, y'all know what I'm going to tell you. Be sure that you do take some time out this weekend to rejuvenate yourself, okay? So thank you, ladies, so much for being here, and I'll see you guys on the next one.